Good morning, everybody. We almost forgot to come on. I almost forgot to come on and get us on here.
You guys are too busy cut kits and turntables.
Yeah, we get in a discussion beforehand and lose track of time. Bill's not going to be with us here today. He's in Iowa with his mom, so maybe we'll catch him next week. And also next week, we're going to have John Arthur on the show. So y'all want to catch that. Anyway, Jerry and Dennis and Steve, good to see you this morning. And Steve, you want to tell us who's here?
Oh, sure. We got Dave D. Me. Good morning, Steve Anderson. Tanzillo, Dave BNSF. We've got Steve Anderson. River Valley John. Good morning. And let's see, we have Allison, and we got Bill Sullivan, New Fenris. Good to see you. I think that was Joe Rader. Good morning. Anybody I missed?
Bernard said, woo, slid in my safe. He must have come running.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, Lord Nikon's here. Dwight Curtis here. Good morning, guys. Did you get Glenn G?
Yeah,
Glenn G still here. Good morning, Glenn. Good to have you with us.
People.
Yeah.
I gotta get it.
It goes too fast.
There we go. I refreshed it.
There you go.
Don't forget Container Man over there.
No, there
he is. Yep. He said you missed a lot of us. Well, Roy, you know it's Steve. So what are you gonna say?
Did we get Lord Nikon?
Yeah.
He sounds very important.
I would check the channel, make sure he's not bought or.
Hey, I want to know. Hey, Container Man, did you get your package?
Steve's internet's messing with him today, I think.
Yeah, that's usually it's me that has the internet problem.
Well, he's got a lot of rain out there. They're getting ready to build an ark, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, there's Mark.
See, that's what happens. That's what happens when you talk about being too dry and not having enough rain. This is what happens. It all comes at once.
Well, now the ground's saturated, so all we need is a little wind, and all the trees are going to come down.
Yeah.
Good morning,
Hey,
Dan.
Mark. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, Mark. How you doing?
Hope you're feeling better. And Gail's here. Good morning, Gail.
Good morning, Gail.
I better be on my best behavior for at least the next 30 minutes or so.
Got Lehigh River.
Does that ever happen?
Good morning.
Ian. Hey, Ian.
Way too much fun for nothing here.
Did we say hi to Almar? Did I miss him?
I don't remember.
Okay. Anyway,
you have now, so there you go.
If we missed you, we apologize. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Now we were talking laser cutting and 3D printing and all that fun stuff before the show. So Dennis is wanting a turntable like I've got from the guy in England, and he doesn't make them anymore. Not the same size anyway, and we can't figure out why. But anyway, that's what we were talking about.
No, that's not true.
The way to work. Okay.
Well, it's Steve Anderson.
That's all we're going to do with that.
No.
Oh, man.
No, you got to count on off the bus, see? So I do have to count.
You have a what?
Well, Steve Anderson says I drive a bus now. I don't need to count. They just get on and off the bus. No, that's not true. You got to know how
that's a big part of bus driving.
Get off. So car counting.
Yeah.
Container Man was wondering where the little box came from. My phone was in that little box.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the box that came. Okay.
Yeah, that box is like perfect. It could fit like, I don't know, 3 or 4 N scale cards in there.
Hey, Claude, did you catch Steve's comment?
Yeah, maybe, yeah, something like that.
He says, great, you got stuff on this before the show, and then you have nothing to talk about.
Well, I can tell you for a fact that there's a lot of stuff we talk about before the show you don't want to hear. I can tell you that for a fact. Well, because there's where, Steve and I, especially when it's just Steve and I usually on first, and we tend to talk politics, and we're not going to do that on the show. So that's kind of the stuff we talk about. Oh, okay. Bernard said, I did unboxing for the Christmas stock car, tried to send it, but it's only 1.5 minutes, but says file too big. That's my first unboxing. Ah, okay. So you did get that.
Uploaded onto YouTube, Bernard. It won't take too long. Jerry,
Yeah,
no.
you may have been just trying to send it to me.
Roy, the box was so small, I could hardly fit your address on the box.
Well, that's Bernard. He got the HO stock car. So so that's why that's in there.
It made
So
it
anyway, that's what we were talking about. If you guys want to talk about that, we can. Or what else do you have in mind this morning? Excuse me.
Let's see. Rob says Dennis needs a hat with a halo.
With a what?
A halo.
Hat with a halo.
Yeah, what's that mean?
Why would I need a halo?
I don't know, because you certainly know Angel.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, you saw what Gail said.
Yeah, I was trying
It'd
to
be a broken halo. Yeah.
What?
Roy said Jerry, yours was the smallest box of the 4 he got.
Yeah, it was a tiny box.
Well, it's because it had tiny cars in it.
Yeah. But that made it was such a great box. I mean, but the phone, your phone comes from them, I'm sure they ship your phone and it's a little perfect little cardboard box that tucks in and it's heavy duty. It's a nice box. Hated to give it up.
Lord Nikon says, love my 3D printer had printed some gears for the DCC guy for one of his locos. Worked out good. Oh, there you go. Now is your printer excuse me, is your printer a filament printer or a resin printer? Because that's one of the discussions we were having. The resin printers seem to do a little better job, especially on the small stuff.
Like there must be like better filament printers, right? Higher
There probably are.
More expensive printer, not a $200 printer.
What's the
He's using a
difference
resin
between
printer.
a filament printer and a resin printer?
The way I understand it, filament comes on a spool and it's just like a thin wire made of plastic or whatever material.
Okay, that's what I have.
Right? And resin is a liquid that forms from the bottom up. It kind of, the whole thing kind of starts on the bottom and
there's no heat involved like there is with the filament printer, because I assume the filament printer melts the plastic into the shape.
I couldn't answer that. I don't know if there's heat involved in a resin. If there's smell, they talk about that there's bad smell from the resin, and resin is not, sure it's not healthy for you somewhat.
Well, no, you wouldn't want to be breathing the fumes off any of that kind of stuff, I wouldn't think.
You wouldn't want to drink it or nothing, But,
yeah. Well, your filament printers are cheaper to buy. I know for a fact the ones that I've seen, I can tell you if it's been printed on filament or resin. I've not seen a filament one yet that you couldn't tell it was 3D printed. And I've bought some stuff from, who is the guy? it does all the little small detail animals and stuff like that.
Bernard
mini prints.
Mini prints.
Yeah.
I bought some stuff from him, and I know those are resin printed because they're tiny and they've got real good detail on them.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be resin printed. I don't think you can get a filament printer to do that. I don't know because I don't have one and I've never messed with them. But from what I've seen out there, I don't think you could do it.
I've got one, and I believe it's the exact same model as my brother-in-law. my lovely wife purchased it for me. It's still in the box because I'm not ready to print details for the layout. But that's my goal for this year is to get the track laid up to this point and then begin scenicking and doing that kind of thing. I might actually break my printer out this year. We'll just have to see. But my brother-in-law printed a grizzly bear for me, and there's plenty of detail on it, and I'm pretty sure we've got the exact same printer with the spooled plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Allie said, filament is layers and takes a little bit more work to get it to look nice.
This is how slow Dennis is right there.
Well, I mean,
3 years ago?
Oh yeah, and I love the gift. It was a great gift. I'm just not ready for it yet. I guarantee eventually it will get a lot of use. It's just
I would think you'd be chomping at the bit to try it out.
No, because I'm one of those people that once I make a decision to do something, I'm kind of tenacious, I guess you would say. I sink my teeth into it and I don't let go. Yeah. If I go down that route, then nothing will get done in here for who knows how long.
Gotcha.
Until and I don't need a bunch of printed details at the moment. I want trains to be able to turn around up here and go back over here. That's the end goal for this year.
Right.
And I hope to get that done sometime around March, I'm hoping.
Yeah. Well, I fully understand what you're saying. That's why I don't put a lot of detail in the stuff that I've got on the layout right now. Now I have put a little bit of stuff just because I was bored one day and I wanted to put some of that stuff in, but I've got very little figures put on the layout yet. No cattle in the cattle pens, that kind of stuff. All that stuff's going to come after I get the vast majority of it put up. It's kind of like my tram towers and tram line for the one mine coming off the mountain. That will be the last thing I put up in that area because it's so fragile. If I do it beforehand, I'll break it. I mean, I've already tried to break the tower that I've got sitting on my workbench, reaching for something else on the workbench. If you've got it on the layout and then you're trying to put scenery underneath it, it's not going to work. You're going to have to put it on after the scenery goes up.
Hey, Dennis, I think Gail's going to stop buying you stuff. Because she said she bought you a turntable for your record albums, too, and it's still sitting in the music studio floor.
I've used that. What is she talking about?
Hey, Roy says he'll borrow your printer and then bring it back when he's done.
You know what's going to happen, Steve? We're going to see come out from off camera. We're going to see a frying pan to the back of his head.
Wow. Good thing is she has to circumnavigate the whole room before she can get to me, so I can get into a fighting stance.
Dennis, don't ever downplay what they can and can't do.
That's true.
Yes, ladies have a way of getting it done. So, by the way, I saw Roy's picture of him and John. He ran into John. I don't know where you ran into John at. 2618. And are you in here, John?
Yeah. He's in here.
Yeah, I had a picture. Yeah, they saw each other. I don't know where he saw him at, but saw him somewhere.
Pilot.
Anyway, Yes, I'd stay clear of most of that stuff, Dennis, if I were you. But anyway, yeah, the 3D printing is great stuff. I don't have any need to do it. I just soon buy it from whoever does do it, give them the business. I've never had anything that I wanted that I couldn't get somewhere.
Yeah.
So I figure unless it's kind of like having the fast track stuff. If you don't have a reason to have a lot of them, to build a lot of turnouts, there's no reason to buy that stuff. Buy the individual turnouts if you're only buying a few. You got to have the volume there to do it. At least in my opinion, that's what you got to do. So what else are we talking about over here?
Everybody's just saying hello.
Everybody just saying good morning?
Looks like Heath finally made it in.
I thought I smelled something. Good morning, Heath. Good to have you with us. Good to see you again, John.
Yeah.
Long time no see, man.
Hey, John Tanzilla, what's up?
Hey, Digger popped in. Hi, Digger.
Oh, Digger's here. Good morning, Digger.
JD's here.
Probably good afternoon for
Didn't see
Digger.
him earlier.
So anyway, well, we don't have Bill here to show it now. Bill did, I noticed, put out another video of making trees. And
Yeah,
I
it's a
haven't
good
seen
video.
it yet. I haven't seen it yet, but I got it saved because I am going to watch that with, intent on following what he's doing so I can build some because I really want to build some of those.
It's a really good tutorial on his type of tree. Really good tutorial.
The problem with me is if I get started on trees, I'm gonna sit down and do a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, me too.
and I won't be doing all the other stuff that I need to get done. So, but anyway, yeah, if you haven't seen it and you're interested in building some trees like Bill's got, go over to his channel and see his tutorial. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know for sure what's on there, but I'm pretty sure that's
definitely.
He said he was going to do that.
Man, Container Man, you're in Little Mister, Massachusetts. Where the heck is that? I bet it's cold there.
Where is he?
Leo, where did I see? Leo Minster, Massachusetts is what it was.
Massachusetts.
Leo Minster.
Okay. Up in the Northeast. There's some beautiful country up there, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. And if you go during the fall, Massachusetts has got some pretty scenery too. Western Massachusetts. Although Eastern Massachusetts, I've been out on the Cape. That's pretty cool too. Go out on the Cape.
Lord Nonchon, you got a question about who did the trees? That's Bill. Model Railroading Adventures with Bill. He's normally on the show this morning, but he's not.
Yeah, he's the one that's not here today. So, but
yeah,
he does fantastic trees.
Yeah, you should check out his channel. Definitely.
And keep in mind when now on this video, I don't know because I haven't seen the video, but I know he builds mainly O-scale trees. I don't know if he's doing any smaller ones, but you could just scale them down and use the same technique. It's pretty simple.
As far as I'm concerned, they're also a perfect size for HO.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
My way of thinking, there's really no HO or O scale or N scale trees. Matter of fact, the N scale trees are always too small, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, and his O scale trees, if you go to Oregon and you go up by Crater Lake and take the drive down toward Grants Pass like we did, yeah, his trees would be the right size for HO because they're just huge there.
I stand corrected. Almar says it's Leominster. Is that how you say it? Leominster, Massachusetts? I can't talk this one.
Leominster.
Leominster.
Okay.
Well, that's like Pennsylvania. We went there and we called it Lancaster. And they go, no, it's Lancaster.
Lancaster, yeah.
You got to say it right.
Well, it's like we have a Miami, Oklahoma, and you don't go to Miami, Florida and say Miami. So, but that's how they pronounce it here. Yeah, it all depends on where you're at and where you're coming from, man. Bernard says, Dennis, your layout's coming along fantastic.
No kidding.
I agree with that.
Well, Steve Anderson shouting. You could post the link to the video. What video are you shouting about?
Oh, he's shouting about here.
Probably.
He's shouting about
probably Bills.
Bills. Let me see if I can find it here right quick, and I'll put it up there.
I don't know if I can share it.
I'm on the wrong one. Let me try this. So if I don't get on the right window, because I'm on the back on track window, and if I don't get on my window, then I can't find the stuff I know is there.
So you're Lehigh River sub. You live in Pennsylvania.
I shared it.
He said we got a lot of unpronounceables in PA.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, come to Oklahoma. It's a lot of Indian names here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a town in near Lancaster called Intercourse, Pennsylvania, too.
Called what?
Intercourse.
Oh, mercy. No.
It's right in the middle of Amish country.
And what state?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. I guess we need to go to Pennsylvania. Okay. Go to Intercourse, Pennsylvania.
Or not, and just say you did.
Have a good day, Gil.
Thank you. What? No frying pan?
No frying pan.
Man,
She let us down.
There's always tonight, though, when she gets off work and isn't in the mood.
Okay, here's that link to Bill's.
Right there, I could toss at his head.
Don't give her any ideas.
Okay, that should be the link to the video that Bill did. And of course, you can join his channel when you get there, so you can find all his stuff. But don't forget Blue Balls, Pennsylvania. Well, we've got some pretty good names here too, like Hog Shooter and Bug Tussle,
Pack Saddle.
Yeah,
Podunk.
Slap Out.
Slap Out.
Yeah, there's some good ones.
Up the road for me.
Yeah, there's some fun town names around
I
here.
go through Pack Saddle, and I don't go through Podunk anymore, but I used to go through Podunk on
Well,
occasion.
Brenda used to ship, drilling pipe and stuff out to all these little towns out. Well, they weren't to the towns; they were outside of those towns. But she knows all of those little towns out in western Oklahoma.
They're turning points. Most of them, like Pack Saddle and Podunk, both are more of an intersection than they are an actual community.
Yeah. Oh, some of the instructions she would give the truck drivers going out. Well, you go here, like Slap Out, which is just basically an intersection. And you say you turn this way and you go so many miles, and then you turn on the section road. Well, the section road is going to be gravel or dirt usually. And then you go this way, and then you turn here at this landmark because there's no addresses out there. So, yeah.
Joe Ray says, don't forget about Blue Balls, Pennsylvania. That's a good one.
Gail says Arkansas has a town called Booger Hollow.
Really? That's funny.
Oh, Gail, you're not from there, are you?
Booger Hollow.
We have kind of a running joke, the further east you get of I-35 in Oklahoma, the closer you are to Arkansas and the fewer teeth you have. But hey, that's just a joke. I don't.
She's met me.
She's from eastern Oklahoma. But she
Okay. Well, I've always told people, they always say, "Oh, it's Arkansas," always making fun of Arkansas. And I tell people from Arkansas, as long as Oklahoma's next to you, You're not the lowest on the totem pole. But anyway, of course, I'm not originally from here, but I've been here long enough that my wife says I'm an Okie now. So,
Where are you from, Claude?
I was born in Southern California in the high desert,
Okay.
just above Cajon Pass, and we lived in Fort Worth for lived out there till third grade, and then we moved to Fort Worth and was there for 5 years, and then we moved up here in '71, and I've been here ever since. So, and my whole family, my wife's side of the family, and everybody's all from here. So kids are all born here.
He
So they're
says
all original Okies.
he says there's a street called Seams that's right between Cummings and Dykeman.
That's just not right.
Digger says they got an island that has a town named twice. This show is going downhill.
I don't think we were ever up on the hill, Steve.
Hey,
I don't
Claude.
think we were ever up there.
Hey, Claude.
Yes.
Anything in your layout?
I'm building the final mine. So it's just about ready to take up and start incorporating into the layout.
Are you building these?
No, they're kits. But this one's a Campbell's kit, and it's a Craftsman kit. So it takes a little time to do. And there's 3 separate components to it. Actually, there's four components. There's the hoist house, the shaft house. It's got a machine. I think it's a machine room, something like that. And then might be a powder house or something. It's a small structure. And then you've got the tipple that goes, or the tunnel that goes out to the tipple. So there's a lot to it. And
So the kit actually came with a tunnel?
yeah, it's scale feet, probably 30, 40 feet long.
So it's not very
Something
big.
like that.
Which kit is this?
It's the Silver Mine, or Silver Bell Mine, I think. Something like that.
Valley 56 says in Wales we have a mountain called Lord Hereford's Knob, which is near a village called Threecock.
Wow.
And Steve Anderson says this is what happens when we don't have a topic.
Yes, exactly what happens. Well, sometimes it's better though.
I don't know about in this case.
Yeah, Gail says, yeah. See, there aren't too many people in western Oklahoma though. Most of them are on the pretty side of the state. That's why they call this green country up here where we live.
Here's a question for people that build kits, laser kits specifically. What's your favorite laser kit brand wise? Do you have one?
You're not asking us, or you're asking chat?
Yeah, I'm asking everybody. Everybody.
Laser kit. I've not done too many laser kits, although the turntable was a laser cut that was a kit that I liked. It was very easy to put together.
Now the other kits that you're building, what are they?
The Campbell's kits are all they were originally made in the 60s, early 60s, I think is when he first started making them. So they're still made pretty much the same way. Even the cardboard pieces that you might be putting like sheet metal on or something like that, even those were not laser cut. You had to cut them out off of the card stock.
Oh,
now they're the newer ones. The guy that's got them now is actually doing laser cutting on that, but the wood parts are not laser cut. The wood parts you got to cut out.
Yeah, so some of them will come pre-sized. Some of them you have to cut out of, stock that's provided by the kit.
Like
A laser kit, pretty much everything is already pre-sized, and it's a matter of cutting little tabs out and gluing together. Where a Campbell's kit, there's a little more figuring things out and measuring sometimes, and sometimes you have to glue 2 pieces together to get one piece.
Do you get templates?
Usually you get a good drawing in a Campbell's kit, an actual size drawing of what you're building.
Yeah.
Not to tout my own channel, but if you're really curious of what a Campbell's kit kind of looks like, go watch the first couple of videos in my stockyard.
Be right back.
The building in that stockyard is a really good example of how those kits go together.
Oh, check it out. Yeah.
And then, now back to your original question, I've put together West Side models, Bar Mills, Banta, and Action Hobbies. I've put together at least 4 different laser style kits, and I can't say that any one of them is necessarily any better than any of the others. They all have very similar qualities.
Right.
And they all go together relatively easy. I would say that of the ones that I've built so far, the one that would have been the most fiddly and have a little bit of frustrations would have been the Banta kit. And that was primarily because the instructions were detailed for the O scale model. I was building the HO scale model, and there were some differences. All of the photographs in the picture were of the O scale model. I found that a little bit frustrating because how they approached it was slightly differently in the 2 kits. But again, it wasn't like I was going to go, I'm never going to put together one of these again. No, nothing like that. Yeah. But the Campbell's kits, they're
well, here's the mine that I'm currently building.
Oh, okay. That's a nice.
It's a silver spur. So wait a minute, let me get my pointer here.
Yeah.
So you've got the winch house that holds the winch, and you can see the stack for the steam engine that does the hoist. You get the powder house, whatever they call that. I can look on here. This is the shaft house, where the shaft goes down through, and then it brings it up. Here's the little tunnel, comes out to the tipple, and dumps it out. But you can see, here's an example. Jerry was asking about templates. Here's an example of what you get on one side of the sheet for it. Can you see what I'm showing you?
Yep.
And then over here, you get an isometric drawing of it, which really helps. And when you're building these, you read the instructions thoroughly, and then go look at the plan. And then you probably have to go back and reread.
Man, the detail in there is amazing. They're like a blueprint.
Well, the building that I have for the packing house down in my cattle yard area, that's a Campbell's kit. But your pieces come in, they're not all, get off of this. They're not all laser cut. None of this was laser cut. Now this is an older one I got off eBay. It was complete. And it does come with some, the plastic windows, doors, stuff like that. It's got the piece of brass in it for the smokestack. It's got the little plastic pulleys and stuff for the top of the winch and all that mess. But the wood, you've got to cut, you got to cut the size from most of it. Some of this, like the gables, these gable pieces will be cut right here. The top of this wall, or this whole wall, will be cut out already. Now,
Right.
I had to cut the doors and the windows out.
Yeah.
They stamped them. Okay, so before they had laser cutting, they had just a stamping process. A big knife that come out in that shape, just stamped down on the plywood or the sheeting that you get, and that's what would cut it through.
Right.
Airplane kits used to be the same way. Now they laser cut them, and laser cut's much cleaner.
Yeah.
It's much easier to put together because it's already the proper size. When you get one of these, you've got to measure the size and stuff yourself a lot of times. It'll tell you what length to cut your stock for your corner post and things like that, but you got to cut it all.
And I guess it's it's a preference, right? If you enjoy
It is. It's,
doing
you
all
know,
that
it's,
fitting, then you would like that kit. If you don't, and you just want to stick one together and have that look, then laser cutting is the way to go.
that's why a Campbell's kit, if you're willing to look on eBay, say, and be patient, because a lot of these are overpriced. If you're willing to wait for one that's in a good price range,
Yeah.
you can get a better price on a Campbell's kit than you can on, say, Berkshire Valley or Banta or one of those.
Well,
Hey,
now,
Mainly because they're not laser cut.
right.
And there's a lot of people that get them and they find out that they're not laser cut. They don't want to do them again.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you guys a little tip here. Caboose Hobbies. They have a lot of Campbell's kits.
Oh yeah, I got one.
Yeah.
The little the oil well that my wife and daughter built.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a Campbell's kit. Then the little tank setup that I got next to it that I put in, that was a Campbell's kit too, and I got that from Caboose Hobbies. Yeah.
Yeah. They have a lot.
Caboose Stop Hobbies, the one that Bill was talking about.
That Bill goes to. Yes.
They were doing a walkthrough.
Yeah.
Bill was doing a walkthrough.
Yeah.
And I called him up. I said, "I want that kit."
I remember when he did that walkthrough, and I'm like, "Wow, man, they got a lot of those kits there."
Yeah,
Like, people talk about.
yeah, and they're a pretty decent price. What'd you say, Steve?
Oh, I'm just saying, you guys are busy yapping. You're not listening or anything. You guys are missing a fun story in chat, man. It's fun.
It's hard to talk and watch chat. Sorry.
Yeah.
Listening to you guys. You guys are just talking. They're not listening.
That's okay. I mean,
They're talking. My uncle's in there. They're talking about tumbleweed, getting pizza in New York 24 hours a day.
that's got to be
As
heat.
long as they're having a good time.
Yeah,
That's
as long as they're
That's
having
the main thing. Yeah.
we're
part
having
of the
fun, they're
program
having fun.
is
We're all
that
having
chat can
fun.
do what chat does.
I actually don't blame them for not listening to us.
He used to walk around nighted by a Port Authority bus terminal. Oh my goodness, Gail! I thought you said you left. She's talking about having no. She likes no.
She better not be texting and driving.
She, no traffic and bum.
There's nobody on the roads.
No, but there might be a cow on the road.
Yeah, that's true. You might hit some tumbleweed or something.
So here's an example of the instructions for Wild West models. And you can see all of this stuff is laser cut.
Right.
And, the biggest difference between something like this and the Campbell's kit is this is all going to go together like in 30 seconds, give or take.
It's like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, there's not going to be any real thought, other than making sure you've got the right piece cut out of the, sheet that it came in. But with the Campbell scale kits, you're going to have to study and make sure that you really know what you're doing before you begin.
Who makes that kit?
This is Wild West Models.
Okay. And you get that little book with your kit?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I've also got I've got two really high quality kits. I'm trying to think of the manufacturer. I've got it right here.
So my question to you, Dennis, is
Sierra West.
And I don't want to get you in trouble. Like, what's the price range for those kits?
Is my wife still on here?
Yeah.
You can text me.
Yeah, she's still on here.
Text me, Dennis.
Like this kit, I think this is in the $50 range.
It's not bad. And you get that book with that kit?
Hold that up again.
That kit came with a book like that, too.
Yeah.
get out of here.
It might have been a little more than 50. I can't really
Whatever.
remember.
I mean, it's not like
I
it's
mean,
300
less than
bucks.
70, I'm pretty sure.
That book is pretty impressive in itself.
Yeah. And then this kit, which is really, I can't recall. I think there's 4 structures in this kit. I don't really remember.
Right.
And I mean, like this weighs about 7 pounds. That's how many white metal castings there are in it. This is a high quality kit.
There's a lot of parts.
This is more than $300.
But there's a lot of detail to it. Where if you bought a
right, if you were to buy each of those structures and everything in there, I mean, for what it is, I think it's priced at the right.
Yeah, say
price
if
point.
Walters,
It's just a matter of most people go.
But like in reality, if Walters made a kit like that, right, with all these buildings, and you had to buy all these parts, that thing would be $500 by the time you bought all the little
and
parts.
not near the quality either.
I
don't
mean,
even want to get into quality.
The little air conditioner kit for the roof is $20 or $10, and this one, and then this one, and then yeah.
And I'll tell you, my philosophy on that is real simple. A lot of people will not bat an eye about buying another locomotive for the railroad.
Right.
So, and I get that, but if you think about it, I look at any piece of my model railroad as part of a whole.
Right.
And if anything that I'm willing to purchase to drive the railroad forward to get what I want, I base it off of what it would cost for one locomotive. Yeah. Do I need another locomotive for my railroad, or do I need 3 more structures?
A building.
Which is more important to the overall whole. Yeah. And I'm not going to keep buying locomotives and not have what I need on the railroad to complete the railroad.
No, in reality, you can only fit so much rolling stock on your layout, right? So what good is it if you have 100 locomotives? You're not going to put 100 on your layout, but you will see all the buildings and the lack of buildings on your layout. Exactly. If that's what you want, right? Because everybody's vision is different than everybody else's.
Well, and I feel the same way about scenery elements. I see a lot of channels, and again, I love that anyone is doing anything that they're doing in the hobby, and how they do it is how they do it. It's wonderful. But some people will really skimp on some of the scenery details on the railroad. And I view scenery just the same way I do a locomotive. If I really want good looking scenery, then the time, effort, and money it takes to achieve that should be equivalent to a locomotive.
Yeah. Well, but it's also
maybe spread out over a 3 foot by 4 foot area, something like that.
The other thing we're not taking into consideration is a lot of people don't want to build a kit. Yeah. And if that's the only way they can get a building, they're stuck because they don't want to build it or don't think they can build it, whatever that may entail. So if they can't find it already done, they're not going to buy it anyway. So you have to like building the kits, which I do. That's what I liked most about RC Airplane, building the airplane. It wasn't the flying part, it was building the airplane.
I think that holds true in any part of the hobby. If you like doing scenery, you're going to excel at it. If you like doing wiring, you're going to excel at it. If you like doing whatever, and the things that you don't like to do, you're going to put off to the very end.
Yeah. Or you're going to try to find some way around it. Yeah.
Or not do it at all.
He's bringing up a good point here. It is all what drives you as the model railroader, so to speak. I'm a modeler first, a railroader second, an operator second. There are people that are absolutely all about operating the railroad, and they could care less if there's one building on it.
Yeah.
And that's great. It does not matter what I think. or what my preferences are.
Mhm.
It only matters what you think and what your preferences are. And that's what's so great about the hobby is there's room for so many different ways of doing everything.
Yeah. One preface I would make, Heath, on his, he was saying, do I need another locomotive?
Yeah, well,
Not the first locomotive, which is kind of what you're talking about here. So in that regard, I think Dennis had a point. Do I want to add another locomotive before I have anything else on the layout? And you may. I mean, that's your preference to do.
Yeah.
But he was just explaining how he's going about making his layout.
That's my philosophy.
And how you're designating your money.
In any one element on my model railroad, whether it's a building or scenery or whatever, I gauge my willingness to purchase it based off of the price of an average locomotive.
Right.
Yeah.
So, out here we have open houses around the holidays, Christmas, and people open their layouts up and people tour. And one year I went and there was a fella by me had an N scale layout just on plywood, nothing on it. And I overheard other people talking, this is the third time I've been here and he hasn't done nothing to his layout. Right. And I'm thinking to myself, like, who cares? He's running trains, he's having fun.
He's opened it up for you to come see.
Yeah.
Right. He's invited you into his house. Like, do you really need to criticize him? Not to him, but like, I heard him. Who else heard him? So like, who cares what your layout looks like? If you're having fun with whatever you have, even if it's a piece of track on a piece of wood 12 inches long, it's a layout, right? You're fine. It's like what you do, Dennis, what you do, Claude, may not be what I want to do or can do.
Exactly.
Another way to look at that, if one 7-year-old kid, if a mother or father of a 7-year-old kid went on that tour and maybe they only had time to go to 2 places and that was one of those places that they went to, just seeing that one locomotive run around on a piece of plywood might have been enough to make somebody go, I really want to do that. We could do this. We could do this.
It's easy. Something like that is attainable for anybody, right?
Exactly.
It is like, you look at Bill's layout. Bill's layout's gorgeous. It's like so unattainable to the average person.
Yes.
They think, that would take me 80 years to do, and it may, right? But it plywood and track, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
And enjoy it. Exactly.
And enjoy it.
That's a great point.
It's about enjoying it, not like
you can make an argument that if you go in and see the Manchester and Southern, and you see all of those buildings, or even like Jason Jensen's or whatever, that the detail involved with that is so daunting to somebody that they might not even enter the hobby as a result of it. However, the Plywood Pacific, just like what you said, might actually draw more people in.
Yeah. It's just like, nowadays, with social media, YouTube and everything, people see this and see that, and they want to emulate that. And that's their goal. Their goals are fine, but like, you don't need to emulate that tomorrow. You don't need to be there tomorrow. It's a process. It's a step. It takes time to get to your layout, Claude, your layout, Dennis, and your layout, Steve.
Well, the only way you get there quickly is to buy something somebody else has already built.
But
the only way you do it. You have to do it in little steps.
That's another way to get there.
Yeah.
Sure. One of the reasons I like watching layout updates and build videos, those are my favorites, because it's one thing to watch somebody's train run around their finished layout already. That's awesome, and I enjoy that. but I like to know how they got there.
Yeah.
And so to me, the real draw is going in and seeing something that's a blank palette, so to speak, and then actually watching every episode of how they got to where they're going. That's the draw for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah, like somebody can watch your video from the beginning, Dennis, and see you progress. Same thing with Bill, same thing with Claude, same thing with Steve, and same thing with my dinky little layout. You know, it's attainable, and you know, I would be perfectly content running trains on my layout right now that doesn't have anything on it but painted styrofoam. You know,
Like somebody needs to wake Steve up.
Oh,
Steve,
I'm,
wake up.
So what's your opinion on that, Steve?
I wasn't even listening to you guys.
Oh, okay.
I'm watching chat, man. Chat's very entertaining this morning. We're talking about hitting coyotes here, kangaroos, like
well, you go out where Dennis lives, and you'll hit some of those things eventually.
Gail's still on here. She hit a deer a while back. That must have.
Yeah,
That's no-
last week.
That's no fun.
In the company vehicle and not our own.
I ran over a deer. Brendan and I ran over a deer just north of San Francisco, down almost to the coast.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, chat is much more entertaining than you guys are this morning.
Well, that's usually the case.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, Roy Hardwick and Allie you guys are arguing about. Okay, man.
Be nice over there. What's the matter with you people?
Nah, you're fine. Everything. Nobody takes anything serious around here.
I hope not.
No.
See you, Mark.
Yeah. Take care, man.
Take
Have
care.
a good week.
Take care. Good seeing you.
No, it's been fun. You know, the chat. I'm listening to you guys, sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Sort
of, kind of.
I guess since we're in kind of a lull, I'll go ahead.
Yeah.
And
yeah, show us what you're working on.
That spin's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's quite good. I'm real happy with that. And you know, all it is 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and then I skinned on this 1/8 inch piece here because it needed 5/8, but I didn't have any. And I just got to figure out, because this is what we were talking about primarily before the program began, is I got to figure out a way to get wires in here and create a split ring commutator.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be too difficult. It's just a matter of coming up with the materials and how exactly I'm going to do it, because
Don't they sell copper tape? Like
they do, and I'd have to have insulated copper tape, and I looked at that, but I think I'm going to go with either a chunk of wood drilled out that I can slip over the top of it, and then put the copper around that, or I might do it with styrene instead of the wood. I just haven't decided. But I'm going to have the biggest issue I see is where I'm going to bring the wires up from the bottom, because there's not a lot of room there.
Yeah.
And one of them is going to have to go on the underneath side of the split ring so that you can come over the top to solder on to the top side of the copper band, so that they're not touching each other. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. Before the end of the weekend, I do plan on scenicking the bottom of this. That should be the end of video 2 if you're paying attention to the build video. But I'm still working on the second video for this.
How'd you cut the circles in the plywood?
I've got it's a roto zip.
Oh, okay.
I got it from my dad, and I think It's got a, I don't know, a compass tool that came with it.
Yeah.
And so basically, I used a router bit and just spun it around. And
Yeah,
I go into that.
I was wondering because you got a nice.
I'll go into detail on how I do it and show it.
I was wondering because you got a nice smooth ring there. That's not easy. If you're using a jigsaw, it's not easy to do.
No.
Well, you could also cut that out with a router and a tramp.
Yeah.
A circle.
Well,
touch.
that's why I was
Which is
asking.
essentially what
It's off
I did.
that Senate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially what I did.
Hey,
I have no
Gail-
faith. I have
Gail-
faith in you that
y'all
you'll.
never talk anyway, so I just stay and chat. I think that's a good idea.
Do what?
Gail says that y'all never let Steve talk anyway, so just join us in chat.
That's not true. You can.
Well, that's what he does.
Yeah, I would say
it's
the
not-
only problem with that is that Steve doesn't have a way to throw the comments up on the screen.
No. And I say something, you guys are too busy talking anyway, so you don't hear me. So I just stay and chat.
You're a chat man.
We're going to get you a sign or something that you can hold up.
I could do that. I could just hold up.
That's why sometimes I raise my hand to get in.
Well, sometimes you just have to barge in, Jerry.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
it's ignorant, man. It's not.
Not gonna hurt my feelings if you barge
know.
in.
I guess, but it's
We'll
polite.
get a hello sign or something. You and I will just hold.
My turn.
Your
It's
wife
all-
has got a great sense of humor. Told her to lay off the deer meat. Well, you didn't pick up the deer and put it in the car, did you?
I think it survived.
Ah,
I guess she didn't really mention it, but I assumed that it lived because the damage wasn't too extensive on it. Took out a headlight and put a dent in the door. That was about it. I've got identical damage on my pickup that I chose not to fix, and I know that deer walked away.
So one morning, I'm delivering my bread, and this deer came over the crest of the road, and he just caught right behind the wheel of my delivery truck. Nothing really, just bent a little metal. But in my rear view mirror, I watched him tumble down the road. He got up and ran away. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was tumbling. I'm like, man, for sure that thing's dead somewhere, but no.
well, yeah, probably did. Probably ran off and died somewhere
Yeah,
else.
maybe, or but yeah,
They do that all the time. I hear hunters shoot them and then they got to track them.
yeah, sure, yeah. They're
Or
pretty,
sit in the same place and hope they come back right there, which sometimes they will.
yeah.
No, Allison, it takes a lot more than that to make me cry.
Hey, Steve, we got 2 minutes. How's your layout doing?
It runs like crap.
Yeah. Guess we're done.
What can I say?
I've seen some trains go by.
Okay.
Oh, they'll go by once or twice. The next thing I hear a train wreck. So I got.
I think it's because of the trees on this layout. They're all little pot plants.
Yeah.
The little
I
pot.
think they just get high and
Got a
yeah.
little close. I haven't seen it. Too busy. One of these days, give it a good overhaul.
Well, we'll have to show them that picture we took when we went over the coast, Steve, and saw the big sign.
Yeah.
What do you use to clean your track, Steve?
I don't clean it. I just run trains and then.
Good. To me, that's the biggest mistake people make is putting anything on their rails to clean, in my opinion. Everyone's got one.
Very seldom do I clean it. If I haven't run anything for a while, I'll run some alcohol on the bag. But that's it.
Steve 87 made a comment. Posted up there, Paul. First. It's not too far down. Yeah.
Instead of going through the middle to power, how about copper offset on shelf and run contacts down? I said the same thing, Steve, and he didn't want to do that.
Is there a reason?
Yeah, I am going to put something around the shelf you know, on the inside, I was going to go with like 10 thou styrene. And then I haven't really figured that out yet because, you know, there's nothing in the instructions for what you actually do with the pit beyond make it. So, but I don't know. I think whatever I do will be hidden inside the bridge and it'll be okay. And, you know, it's not like I can try 2 or 3 different things. And if I don't come up with something that works that I like, then I'll go to the next idea, which that is definitely one of the ways to go about doing it.
I have no doubt whatever you choose to do with that, Dennis, is going to work.
Yeah, whatever
If you're doing it, it's going to end up working. Well, that's our hour, guys.
Wow, we made it. Jeez.
Yeah.
I don't think we're done.
And I get to go hang curtain rods at my son's house now, so I got to get out of here. But good to see everybody. Try not to hit any deer or cows or roos.
Or no roos.
When you're out running around. Everybody have a good week.
Good weekend. Be safe. Take care. Good seeing everybody.
Jerry, Dennis, Steve.
Bye.
See you guys later.
See you guys. Girls.